Hey, how's it going, everybody? My name is Jason. This is Art of Creation Homestead, and we're inside the kitchen again. Alright, we still have more. We have a lot of eggs to use still, and Angela Kay has got something up her sleeve today. She got short sleeves. She got short sleeves on, so it's not very far up her sleeve. But she's making something today that I adore, that I have to request for her to make because she won't make it on her own. But you're gonna love it. Okay, so let's turn around here and let her guide you through this process.
Okay, this is another episode of what to do with all these eggs. What we're going to be making today is something that is pretty much a lost art form, really. You don't hear much about them anymore. What I'm making today is popovers. And popovers can be made multiple ways. They can be made, I'm just showing you the basic one. They can be made sweet, they can be made savory, they can be made cheesy. However you want to make them.
You're cheesy! Sorry.
I'm just showing you the basics. I could show you 1,000 different ways to do them, just to be honest. But I'm going to show you the basics today. What you will need first, this is a popover pan. I know it looks a little strange, but this isn't, you don't have to have this to make good popovers, okay? Before I got this, I made popovers in a muffin pan for years. And they turn out good. They're just short and squat instead of big and tall. So if you don't have a popover pan, we will leave a link in the description below to this particular popover pan or one similar. And you can get one if you want to. If you want to make them and you don't have one, use a muffin tin. This will make 6 in large ones in a popover pan, or 10 to 12 small squat ones in a muffin tin. So first thing you need to do, about 45 minutes to an hour, depending on how warm your house is, you want to set out 3 eggs and a 1.5 cups of milk, because you want it to come to room temperature. You will always get a better rise if your milk and your eggs are at room temperature. You also want to preheat your oven to 450 degrees. You want to melt 3 tablespoons of unsalted butter, and you want to set it aside to cool. You want it to be cooler because you don't want it to curdle your eggs from being too warm. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to take our milk and we're going to put in the 3 eggs, and we're just going to whisk it up. As you can see, I've got it in a large 4-cup liquid measuring cup. The reason I did it this way is because really when you go to put your batter into the pan, you're better off with something with a spout. So I'm going to pour my batter back into this pitcher. Well, it's not really a pitcher, it's a measuring cup. Excuse my oven.
Oh, it's preheated. Either that or she was using some foul language.
Now we're going to slowly drizzle in our butter and whisk it as you go. Now, you're going to give that a good whisk. You want to whisk it till you start to see a lot of bubbles. It will take probably about a minute to whisk it really good. And don't sling it all over the counter like I just did. And like I've showed you before, in a situation like this is your best way to use the whisk, because you get more frothing quicker than you would just whipping it. This is actually your best way of doing it. Now you can do this in a blender or with an immersion or stick blender, but you do end up with more tender popovers if you do it by hand. So that's the way we're doing it today.
So there's a such thing as over whisking or over whipping this?
Yeah, you really can, because it will make for a tougher popover.
Okay.
And you really don't want a tough popover.
You want a little girly man.
Yes, you do.
You want a nice, tender, sensitive one.
Yes. These dudes are tender.
My fault, people. I led her down this path. My bad.
Okay. Now, as you can see, there's a lot of bubbles starting to form around the edges. And that's almost where you want it. You want to whisk it just a little bit more. Just give it a little bit more of a whisk. Make sure everything's incorporated and you've incorporated some air into it, because that's what you're doing. That's what all those bubbles are. They're air. And you want to incorporate some air into that. See, there's more bubbles now. So now, over here in this bowl, we have 1.5 cups of all-purpose flour. We have 1 teaspoon and 1/4 of salt. We use pink Himalayan. And we have 1 teaspoon of granulated sugar. Now, we're going to take our whisk this together just a little bit. And now, we're going to pour in the wet ingredients. And we're just going to whisk this together really good. Make sure everything's incorporated. But don't overmix it at this point, because you develop gluten. And you don't want the gluten to get really tight. Because if it gets really tight, again, you will end up with a puff top over.
Good point.
You will end up with a tough pop over. There we go. And you don't ever want to end up with a tough popover. Or
a puff top over.
Or a puff top over.
It stink really bad. Question.
Okay.
Is your bowl big enough, or should you gotten a little bit bigger bowl?
No, my bowl's big enough.
Okay.
My bowl's plenty big enough.
Okay.
Now
I've been slinging that mess over.
You want to give it a good, vigorous whisk at this point. Make sure everything is nice and incorporated. You will see a few little lumps. It'll be fine. They will bake out. It'll be just fine. And as you can see, it kind of has the consistency of heavy cream.
It's like a custard before you want to...
Yeah, kind of. If you've ever made a Dutch baby, which if you want me to, I will show you how to make those.
Don't get yourself into it.
Because we love those around here.
Don't get yourself into it.
And they're a good thing to do when you got a lot of eggs.
See, you done did it now.
And basically this is a second cousin to a Dutch baby.
Close. It's close. It's a savory bread Dutch baby.
Yeah. And honestly, you can make these sweet.
Okay.
You can make chocolate ones. You can make cinnamon sugar ones. You can make fruity ones. And you can make cheesy ones as well. I've made cheesy ones a lot of times, and they're really good. Okay, now you want to pour your batter back into your measuring cup. That way you have something with a spout. It just makes it so much easier to pour into the pan. And then you want to set this aside for about 15 minutes and let it rest a little bit. During that time, when you have probably about 5 minutes left of the 15 minutes, go ahead and put your popover pan in your 450 degree oven to let your pan preheat. Okay, your batter has set for 15 minutes and your pan is in the oven preheating in the 450 degree oven. Now we're going to give it another good whisk to bring everything back together. Just give it another good whisk. And see, it's a beautiful batter, it really is. The thing is about popovers, you can do anything with them. You can have them for breakfast. You can pull them open, you'll see when I open one up for you, you'll see that there's a hollow place in the middle. You can split them open, put eggs and cheese in them for breakfast. You can have them at lunch. You can split them open and put chicken salad in them. Or you can do like I'm doing right now and having them as a side dish with your dinner. Or you can even, I've even seen people have them as dessert. Split them open and put vanilla ice cream and chocolate syrup in them, which would be amazing. As long as they're not cheesy ones. Ew.
That'd be nasty.
So, that's brought together. Now I'm going to bring the pan out of the oven and I'll show you what you do. Okay, your pan has preheated. Now we're going to take just a little bit of cooking spray and just spray each one down really good.
And a lot of match real fast.
Now we're going to pour it in.
Pour it in.
Now you want to pour it about 3/4 of the way full. Go a little shy at first because you can always add, but you can't take away because then you end up having to borrow from Peter to pay Paul. And you can hear it sizzle just a little bit because of your hot pan. Now see, I can go back and fill in on some of these that are a little shy. Now we gotta give this one some love.
It's gonna be a little one.
He's gonna be a little smaller, but
okay.
He'll be okay.
That'll be fine.
He'll still taste good. He'll just be a runt. Okay. Now, we're gonna take our pan, and we're gonna pop these in the oven. And here's where the specific instruction comes in.
Very important.
It's very important.
Very important.
You are going to bake these for 20 minutes at 450 degrees. The 450 degrees will give them the puff that they need. That high heat will give them the puff that they need. Then after 20 minutes, do not open your oven. If you have to put something in the oven with it, do it extremely quick. Preferably do not open your oven for the entire 40 minutes that these bake. Without opening your oven, after 20 minutes, lower your temperature to 350 and let them finish at 350 for 20 minutes. That way they don't burn. That way you've set the puff on them and they don't burn. Because if you leave it at 450, they're gonna burn.
So 20 minutes at 450, 20 minutes at
350.
350. 20 at 450, 20 at 350.
Yes. Okay. As you can see, they're out of the oven.
And they're amazing looking.
They're
Sheesh.
absolutely gorgeous. Some of the prettiest I've ever made. Now you need to pull them out at this point. See, isn't that gorgeous? You need to take a paring knife, just poke a little hole in it so that you can release some steam. Just kind of twist it a little bit, open it up. You want to release some steam because if you don't, they will get very soggy. So then you want to put them on a cooling rack. Now they're going to roll around.
That's amazing looking though, Ange.
And I would say these are probably the prettiest I've ever made.
That's awesome.
Woo. Now you want to let them cool just a little bit or you're going to burn your pie hole.
They're hot. And they're hot. They've been in the oven for a legit 40 minutes.
Yes. This you can pretty much time exactly. It's going to be exactly what.
Those are awesome.
Those are some of the prettiest I've ever made. I won't lie. They are. And as you can see, they've got a nice crust on them.
Yeah, but they're not hard.
But you wait.
Oh, it's amazing.
You wait until I can crack one open and show you what it looks like inside. Because it sounds like these are rock hard.
But they're not.
You wait until I crack one
They're
open.
awesome. Okay, these are cool just enough where I can touch them and eat them now. Because I'm anxious to eat them. Look at this. Beautiful. Beautiful. I got a large hand. Good size, you know. So, let's crack one open. Look at that. That's beautiful. That is beautiful inside there.
That is probably the prettiest one I've ever
Oh,
made.
they're impressive. I'm trying to eat one now. Let's eat a bite.
They're nice and crusty on the outside, very tender in the middle.
Mm.
Very tender, buttery.
Give me a moment. It's so delicious. They're outstanding. I'm very impressive looking. They're so impressive looking. If you make them for when people are coming over, they're gonna think you did something great, which you probably did, because these are amazing. So if you make them like this, then you did do something great. Hey, we appreciate you guys watching this though. Give us a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, because if you're not subscribed to the channel, you're gonna miss out on these awesome videos that we're doing. Angela Kay is an amazing cook, and she's showing you how to use food that you grow yourself and raise yourself. And we're showing you how to plant that food, grow it, and eat it, cook it, harvest it, can it, preserve it, everything. And so subscribe to the channel, you're missing out. We appreciate you guys watching though. My name's Jason. That's Angela. It's Art of Christian Homestead. We love you guys. God bless you and goodbye.